Okay, welcome to the final session on today's MaisonBordeaux. What we're going to learn now is how to create the floor plans. So we're going to use lines, we're going to add in some text, add in dimensions, also filled regions, which is just like a hatch pattern, also add components, and then finally switch on the shadows to get a final image. So let's go back to our drawing. So first of all, we're going to use, we set up a drawing just for the purposes of the floor plan. What we want to do is, if you select the base level, and then we're going to duplicate that view. So this is an isolated view from the others, so we can call that, and then we can rename it. So this is just a page, rename it presentation. Okay. First of all, we're going to check the scale. So we want, this is going to be a floor plan, so we're going to do a 1:50 scale. We're going to leave the level detail to medium, and we're not going to have shaded, we're just going to have it as a hidden line drawing, so it's just a black and white drawing. So first of all, we're going to add in the road that comes in, and what we're going to be using is, under annotate, we're going to use detail lines. Now detail lines are just drawing lines, so you can add it onto a drawing. It's not a 3D element, so if I was to draw a line along here, if I go into the 3D view, nothing's been created. It's only specific to that one drawing. So if I go back to the basement level, that line doesn't appear. It's only specific to that drawing, and that's what detail lines do. And filled regions, which is another word for creating your hatches. So we're going to create hatches in for some of the terracing and of the background as well, where it's cutting into it. So first of all, we want to draw in the road that comes in. So we're just going to draw in a line. So you can just draw in a straight line, and we're going to draw in. So that's a straight line. We'll go to detail line. We're also going to draw in a radius, and if we just roughly type in 6,000, and then we're going to move it. So we draw a line. We draw the center. So we draw the circle on that line, and then we move that point up to that element there, and then we are going to make it slightly bigger. So 1650. Oops. 16500. Okay. Move it so the top of that line is aligned with that grid line. And then we're going to use the offset tool. So if we go to modify, offset, that road is going to be 3 meters long. So if we use that offset, type in 3000. Now if we hover around that element, it creates a circle which is 3 meters offset. Now if I select that line and that line, I want to move them both so they sit, so it aligns with that line there. So we're also going to create another line above it. So select that line there. There we go. So I want to take that segment out. What we use is called the split line tool. So we back again to modify, and at the top here we get split element. So what it does is you can split an element or just use a knife to cut into it. So cut a section out. Now if I select that line, that segment, and then press delete, it takes out that segment. And then I'm going to select the curve and then move them out to connect to that quadrant there and that quadrant there. And then again that one there, that finishes up that grid line. And then we're going to use we're going to go detail line, draw a straight line up here, and then pick out that point there, use the split line again, modify, split line with gap, oops, sorry, no, the split line element, select that point there, oops, split again, select it, delete, and then we should have just a path. So if I go back to the basement level, nothing's appeared, it's only on this one drawing here. I'm also going to show the direction of how it ramps up. So annotate again, detail lines, and what we're going to do is draw a straight line along here, and then at the centre, if you hover around it, it automatically picks the midpoint of that line. So it enables you to pick that midpoint without actually having to calculate it. So that's the 2D line. What you also need to do is we're going to add in dimensions. So we can add in what's called, if we go back to annotate, we can click analyze, and we can select various elements along here. So if I hover around it, it's only picking up the centre line, because where it says wall, you can select where it says wall faces. Now it will pick the face of that wall. So rather than picking the centre, you can pick the face of the wall. So if I want to create a series of dimensions, this time I'm picking the face of that wall. So you can create dimensions that way, and you can dimension anything. It picks up elements. You can also dimension the radius of that curve, or you can dimension the diameter of that, the arc that we just created. So that's the dimensioning tool. Probably just want to add in where the centre point of the centre point of that arc is. Next, what we're going to do is fill in the background. So because we haven't added the typography yet, we just want to add in the hatch just to black out, to show that that's been embedded in the ground. So this time we're going to click fill region, and these are all the hatches that we are preset within it. And if I click solid black, now we're just going to roughly draw. Now we're just using the draw tools to recreate. So, and then we're going to use our pick lining tool, similar to what we did before, and pick the face of the wall, and it has to be a closed shape, so it has to be a continuous shape around it. So that line is continuous. Then we just use a draw tool, select it. It's going to come out at an angle and then box around it. Now if I click OK, it says because it hasn't, there's lines which are intersecting, it highlights it in orange. It can't create that filled region, so I need to go and address that. So that line there and that line there are conflicting with each other because they're not joined up. So if I move it back down, again if I try it again, it says those two there are still conflicting, so I need to modify it there and click OK. Again, it's at the point, Revit's nice enough to show you where there are issues, and then you're trying to find it. Once those issues are addressed, click OK. Now you've got a black silhouette for the background. Oops. You can decide not to show the grid lines like I am doing now. So if I select the grid line there, don't really want to show it, or the elevation line. So that's the base of our plan. The next thing is we want to add in elements, so furniture items. So this time we go to architecture and click component. Now these are all preset ones which I've added in for the purposes of this house. So if I first of all, I'm going to stick in tree, delete. If I click walls and add in a toilet, and if I go sink first, so I know that there's a sink here, and then you can add in furniture. That's the bathroom. Hover around. So to rotate it, you can select it and then use the rotate call 90, or if you select it and press the space bar, it rotates it around an axis. So if I select it now and then click move, you can move it around. You can add in just 2D lines for, I think there's shelving along there, so go to annotate. Now if I go 500, draw a line just to show that that's shelving. I think there is a bench along here, so sorry, a work surface, and within that work surface I'm going to add in, go to component again, add in a sink. Should be a sink in here. There we go. It's kitchen sink. So hover around it, left click. Again, I can move it around a bit. You can also add in, because there's a platform that comes down here. So if I click on annotate, I need to see where that hole is. So I will click on, so if I click on that slide, this time I'm going to use a hidden line. So if I draw a box and then put an X around it, that dictates that there's either a void there or there's something above you that has come down. So I think that's just for purposes of this. You can add in the voids, you can add in shelving, so start to add in those components. So actually, if I go to components, I think there's a bed in there as well. Bed, no furniture, and that bed might go up here. So that is the end product. And hatches. So we got a hatch for the background. This section here has got timber flooring. So we're going to go again. We're going to annotate. This time we go to filled region. This time we're going to use hatch 150 square. Just draw a square. We add in a hatch. And this area here is a patio, so we're going to go to filled region, and this time it's just 600 by 600 squares. So these are all preset hatches we can add into. So once you've added in all your furniture, you might want to add in text. So if I go to annotate, you can click text, and if you just left click, drown, and then right click, and then you just write in kitchen, for example. If I select it, you can have it at various sizes. So we're going to use, these are all preset, so we use 5mm Gothic. Copy and add in platform. Oops, cancel. again, there are some trees. So we're going to stick a couple of trees. So if I scroll on down, tree planting 3 meter height. I'm going to stick a tree in there. Stick a couple in there. If I want to change the radius, if I select it, change the foliage to foliage diameter to 2 meters, makes it a bit smaller, and again change that one to 3000. So you can start to add in some trees if you like. And then the final thing to do is to switch on the shadows. So at the bottom here, if you select it, the shadows come on and off. So it automatically creates the shadows. Now to change the settings, if I click on, select that setting and then select graphical display options, and then expand on shadows, you can select to switch on the shadows on and off. And under lighting, you can dictate how dark shadows is, so you can say very light or very dark. Now the angle of the shadows is dictated to by the sun settings. So if I click in session lighting, so at the moment it's from the top right. If I usually drawings come from the top left, click apply, and it switches it over. So eventually, once you add in the furniture, etc., and add in the shadows and add in a bit of furniture, you can start to generate a 2D plan. So that's something I've created earlier. Thank you and good luck.